Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the News 69 for World News Update, initiated by Global Media for Peace and Development. Beginning of the news. The news headlines first. UN launches network to support victims and survivors of terrorism. Children forcibly separated from mothers at Syria's Al-Hol, warns top rights expert. Daesh and affiliates still a threat in conflict zones. UN counter-terrorism officials report. Security Council hears of persistent and evolving Daesh threat. Mark Carney's Liberals win election appended by Trump. Canadian Broadcasting Corporation projects. Season of war. As norms of humanitarian law cast aside. UN refugee chief. You are listening the news headlines. Now is details. A new UN initiative aims to drive collective action to support the rights and needs of people everywhere whose lives have been upended by the continuing threat posed terrorism. The UN Office of Counter-Terrorism, UNOCT, launched the Victims of Terrorism Associations Network, VoTAN, on Monday. The network is a key outcome from the first UN Global Congress of Victims of Terrorism, held in September 2022. It brings together victims and survivors of terrorism, victims associations, and civil society organizations from across the globe. The goal is to provide a safe space for victims and survivors to support each other, build resilience, and engage as advocates, educators, and peacebuilders. A UN-appointed independent expert expressed deep concern on Friday over the distressing treatment of children being held apparently indefinitely in prison-like conditions in northeast Syria, where they are forcibly separated from their mothers. UN Special Rapporteur on the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights and Fundamental Freedoms while Countering Terrorism is the first independent rights expert to gain access to the infamous facilities Al-Hol and Al-Raj, as well as other places of detention. After her 6-day visit to northeast Syria, Ms. Nia Lane said conditions in both camps constituted arbitrary and indefinite mass detention with no prospect of legal or judicial process for those being held. Vladimir Voronkov, the UN Under-Secretary-General said for counter-terrorism, expressed solidarity with all victims regardless of nationality, ethnicity, or religion, and paid tribute to their courage and resilience. Toronto, AP. Canadians will vote for a new government on Monday in an election that has been appended by U.S. President Donald Trump's trade war and his threats to make Canada the 51st state. Prime Minister Mark Carney and the governing Liberal Party appeared poised for a historic election defeat until Trump slapped heavy tariffs on Canada and began threatening its sovereignty. Trump's attacks have infuriated Canadians, who are canceling trips to their southern neighbor and avoiding buying American goods when they can. The surge in Canadian nationalism has bolstered the Liberals' poll numbers. The opposition Conservative Party had hoped to make the election a referendum on former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, whose popularity cratered as food and housing prices rose and immigration surged. But after decades of bilateral stability, the vote is now expected to focus on who is best equipped to deal with Trump. Voters nationwide will elect all 343 members of the House of Commons, one for each constituency. There are no primaries or runoffs, just a single round of voting. Like the UK, Canada uses a first-past-the-post voting system, meaning the candidate who finishes first in each constituency will be elected, even if they don't get 50% of the vote. This has generally cemented the dominance of the two largest parties, the Liberals and Conservatives, because it's difficult for smaller parties to win seats unless they have concentrated support in particular areas. The party that commands a majority in the House of Commons, either alone or with the support of another party, will form the next government, and its leader will be Prime Minister. Carney replaced Trudeau, who announced his resignation in January but remained in power until the Liberal Party elected a new leader, Carney, on March 9. Carney was sworn in as Canada's 24th Prime Minister on March 14. He hopes to retain the job and avoid becoming one of Canada's shortest-serving prime ministers. Thousands of lives have been destroyed in the pursuit of supremacy, as international humanitarian law has been dismissed and cast aside, said UN High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, Filippo Grandi, on Monday. Speaking in a UN Security Council, Filippo Grandi said in conflicts across the world in places like Sudan, Ukraine, Myanmar, the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Haiti, violence has become the currency of our age. Forcibly displaced people are among the first victims of war. Worldwide, some 123 million people have had to flee due to conflict. And this is the news update for this time. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for next news update.